people ask me, "Wow, Tara, how'd you get so good at piano?" How did I teach myself how to play the piano? When I was 4 years old, my grandmother showed me where middle C was on the keyboard, and she also taught me the notes in the C triad, but she didn't explain what that meant, like what it was or why we needed it, but she showed me C, E, G. And then she also showed me how to do the C major scale. She also taught me the tiny songs like Yankee Doodle and Peter Peter, like the ones that everyone learns when they're 4. Maybe not everyone does that, I don't know. Maybe just me, I learned them. But they're classics. So she taught me those 2 songs, and then for everything else, like with the book that she gave me, it was actually the beginning, like preschool level John Thompson book, except it was the one published in like the 50s, the 40s or 50s. So it didn't have a cover on it, and it had a lot of racist undertones, and also not so undertones. There's also just like blatant racist images. Which is regrettable, but the newer ones, they like took them out, they replaced the like human caricatures with monsters, but it's also not much better because they still left all of the song titles and all of the text the same, so it's still like racist, just it is less blatantly racist. After that, I started using the next level of the John Thompson books because, you know, I don't know, I guess that's what all of my family has ever used. And I don't really know anyone else that uses them, so if you do, let me know. It's this red book. I'm not getting paid by them. If I was, that would be cool. It's like my default state of life is these books, because I taught myself how to play piano with this book, so it's really hard for me to suggest other things to people that want to teach themselves, because this is how I taught myself. So it starts off with a very like limited explanation on how to play the piano, because it assumes that you already know what the note keys are and all of that stuff. I would do like small performances for my grandmother. She was kind of like the guide for me, but she never like taught me. She would just ask me to play the song, and then she would usually tell me that it sounded great and amazing and awesome because she's my grandma. So honestly, I may have been terrible at it, but it didn't matter because she always just told me that I was great. So I took some lessons in middle school for like 2 years. I honestly don't really remember, but we switched to the Bastion model of learning, which I honestly hated, and it was awkward and weird because I shared a lesson time with my sister, and she didn't really like it, but she like wanted to do it because I was doing it. Then in high school I started with a different piano teacher, and so it was kind of the same thing where like she was a pastor's wife, and so we would go to her house, and I'm pretty sure we just continued the Bastion learning for a while, which I hated, but then she had some other books that we used that I don't remember because I don't think I own them. And then after that, we just started learning classical repertoire, and then one day after we finished, I think it was Claire de Lune or something, my piano teacher was like, "Congratulations, I don't have anything else left to teach you," because, you know, she was a church accompanist and the pastor's wife, and she wasn't a classically trained musician, and so we had reached the peak of her knowledge, or at least that's what she decided. I feel like I was so bad still at playing. Like, I think about how bad I was at that age, and so I can't imagine how she would like look at my playing and go, "Yep, that you're done." It's terrifying. She also taught me the Hanon exercises, which I love. They're my favorite. Everyone should do Hanon daily, every day. Then I didn't do any higher learning with piano. Like after those lessons, that was it for my piano lessons. I haven't taken a piano lesson since. I accompanied people in college. I mean, I got a music degree, but not in piano. I had to take a piano course just for my degree, to like complete my degree, which everyone was like mad that I was in the class because they had never taken piano before, and like I already played piano for the last however many years of my life, like decade of my life. And so like it was no problem for me to like be playing the piano, and like all the stuff we did was like middle school level. I didn't have to try, I guess is the point. I didn't practice for that class. I guess the only thing I did practice was when we had to memorize things, because the professor terrified me, but it was amazing because it was kind of like taking lessons from them, but with, 20 other people. I am like teaching and then performing, but not doing any solo performing, only accompanying, basically exclusively accompanying. But I'm a professional accompanist, and definitely a professional teacher. So I don't teach at a like school level, I don't teach at like a public school level. I teach in like a private, like one-on-one lesson school. And so I have a roster of students for the month, and I show up every day of the month and teach them business. So it's great because, I don't know, I put a lot of time and effort into learning the piano myself. I feel like in the past couple years is the only time I've truly, like, not even years, like year. I feel like in the past year I've actually applied myself to seriously learning, and I can definitely look back at my technique and realize all of those issues. I think part of it probably is just having that generalized music degree, because it made me pay attention more to the subtleties in music that really helped put me over that edge of like an amateur into a professional. I think that can be achieved by yourself, as long as you're paying close attention while you're practicing and recording yourself. And I think listening to other people play and watching them play is definitely the biggest role in that. And so being in a music college allows you to do that constantly, which is helpful. But I think obviously you can do that without being in college, because local musicians exist, and like small ensembles, if you want to do like ensemble playing with your instrument, it's really easy to just get in to do that as well. I was going to tell everybody about the worst performance experience of my life. I don't know if that should be like a separate thing. I'm going to say it anyway. I feel like half of my brain has like blocked out the terrible memory of this experience. I was doing a talent show that I had done the year prior, and I had gotten 3rd place, and so I was excited to do it again. And I picked this mazurka because like my mom was like, oh, you should do this piece, and it was in this weird in-between where I didn't have either of those piano teachers yet, and so it was just me teaching myself all of these pieces that I had no right to be playing. My grubby little middle school fingers did not have any means necessary to actually be performing these pieces. And so I liked playing it, but I definitely hadn't truly learned the piece by the time it came to the talent show. And so I was using my music, first of all. I didn't even have it memorized. And then I went on stage, I started playing it. I'm gonna have another anxiety attack just thinking about it. I went on stage, I started performing, but then there's this weird break before the next section. And I remember I struggled so hard with all of the accidentals in the section that, because I was slowing down so much and I like paused before the next measure, they started clapping in the middle of the piece before I was done playing it. It was so cringeworthy and it made me shrivel up inside and just decide that I would never perform a solo piano piece ever again. I mean, obviously I have performed solo piano pieces since, but it took me a very long time to get through that mental roadblock. It's still a roadblock sometimes. I definitely didn't have a good enough grasp of truly studying technique on the instrument and everything to be playing it at that age. So after everyone started clapping in the middle of the piece, instead of just grabbing the music and leaving at that time because they saved me from the embarrassment of going on, I kept playing. And then I finished the piece and why didn't I just stop? I don't know why I didn't just stop. Wow, look how good I am at playing piano since I taught myself how to do it. That's so cool of you. But what I'm saying is, if you do your research, you could become a better piano player than me, because it took me way too long to get to the point that I'm at now. It's a terrible message. Onwards and upwards.